portrayed in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Okay.
You just kind of see him there.
Yeah, you
and
never really get to know him. Yeah.
Right, and when the other guy is talking to him, and you're like, Thanos is a dick. I mean, I know he's supposed to be the bad guy, but I didn't really care for him.
Well, I mean, I had read some comics with him. I was never like that big into the Galaxy ones.
The Gauntless,
I never read it, like many of those. Whenever they went into space, I lost interest.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that was in my spiel.
It's not relatable.
Comics. Yeah. But I knew about him, so it was like, oh, cool, But that he did such a good job, and they presented him so well. And the fighting in the movies, like in the Infinity War, the action scenes, where no character is overshadowed. I felt like no character was over, like, even though you have these amazing characters with like these powers that shouldn't be able to like stand toe to toe against each other,
right?
Somehow they did. Like Peter Quill was fighting Iron Man, and it's supposed to be Iron Man. It's supposed to be like Omega level kind of hero, where and they were the way that in Doctor Strange having these fights with Iron Man or whatever,
right.
They just did so well in presenting everybody evenly. And
I was wondering before the movie, how are you going to pit good guy versus good guy and make it interesting? Like, you're supposed to pick a side if you're into that,
right?
Like, how would you do it? And I thought they did a great job where, you either take Captain America's side or you take Iron Man's side.
Oh, you're talking about Civil War.
But Civil War started that idea. But even
they were good.
This movie. Yeah. Like you had like your sides.
Right.
So I did like that.
Yeah, they were good. They did that good too. Where in the fight where Ant-Man's in it, I thought that was one of my favorite scenes in that whole.
Oh wait, Ant-Man wasn't in Ant-Man and Hawkeye were not in Infinity War.
No. Right, they were in Civil War. I'm saying in
Civil War.
You
like that? Yeah,
that was my favorite scene where they were fighting, and it was like an even match between all of them and everything like that.
Yeah, that fight scene at the airport was really cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Scotty, what is your favorite?
I don't want to tell you anymore.
Hero.
I would say so. I don't really like watching movies more than once, so it's a rare occasion. But I can watch Guardians of the Galaxy 1 over and over and over.
Yeah, me too.
So that goes right to the top.
Yeah. That one's, like I said, like the first time I watched it, I think I mentioned this before, it was like the first time I watched Star Wars.
Yeah. You told me that, and I had to go see the movie at that point, and I saw it in the theaters, and I fell in love with that movie.
Yeah, I own it, and I don't ever buy movies.
Yeah.
I don't buy movies unless they really, really, like
impact
have to be,
you.
Yeah, and that's like, I think I own maybe 2 movies.
So that was number 1. Number 2 for me would be Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
I also could watch that movie over and over and over.
The first one?
The first one. Now the second one was really good, but there's something about the first one where I just love that movie.
I would love to see a Wolverine Deadpool movie, but done by the MCU.
Yeah.
Like everything should be done by the MCU. I think I like the Deadpool, I like the Wolverine movies.
Mm-hmm.
I like them, I don't love them, because those are one of my favorite heroes when I was growing up.
Sure.
So there's this loyalty to those things. But
did you know there's a podcast, a Wolverine podcast?
No, I didn't know that.
I started listening to it. It's really good.
Oh, really?
So it's done in storytelling, kind of like the old-timey radios.
Yeah.
And it tells a story about this guy that's in Canada, and there's been some murders in this small... it takes place in Alaska. And there's been some murders, so the town's investigating these murders. And it's like the origin story of Wolverine.
Oh, that's really cool. I gotta hear that.
And there's actors and sound effects and everything.
Oh, no way. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to hear that tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think like even the fight scenes in those movies, they don't compare to the MCU. Like, Wolverine is usually in the Wolverine movies, he's running around like but like running around like a regular dude.
Right.
Like you see Hugh Jackman just kind of running, kind of.
It reminds me of something you said in our superhero podcast where you were talking about DC versus Marvel, and you're like, how does a DC train, and you see them working out, how does Marvel train, and they're reading comic books?
Right.
And I feel like the directors of these movies really pay attention to the details of those comics.
Right. Because the way that Wolverine fights in the comic books is way different than the way that he fights in the movies.
Right.
Like, I mean, clawing people, blah, 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 but there's supposed to be like this animalistic thing, not like a angry man kind of thing that Hugh Jackman's got going on. And
well, listen to the podcast because they talk about how he's running with his pack of wolves and he's attacking like animals like a wolf, a wolf.
Right. So that's the scope of it. Like,
yeah.
and they did it well with Black Panther. Black Panther attacks like a panther,
right?
Like an animal, like, and that's how Wolverine's supposed to be. Like, so I think they would just do so much better. I mean, in the Thanos fight. Spider-Man, like you never see Spider-Man like they did Spider-Man.
Right.
The Spider-Man that on the Sony ones, again, it's just way different than Spider-Man in the Spider-Man in the Infinity War is the Spider-Man from the comics. Just like the way he's fighting, jumping around, kicking, and flying around like that. That was always Spider-Man.
Right. They hand the director a comic and say, make this movie.
Into a movie.
Versus, here, make a movie. You use this as your basis of understanding of the character.
I think that's probably a lot of has to do with it. That they just don't really understand the comic book that well.
Yeah. So I get my top two. I also really like the Infinity War, but I just gotta.
You gotta watch it.
I gotta see it right.
Yeah, you gotta watch it again. It was heartfelt. It was.
At first, I really didn't care about the Captain America story. I didn't really like the first Captain America that much.
Right.
As much people. But as they went on to like the Civil War, Winter Soldier, it got really good.
Yeah, I mean, I like them. They're, again, those are good, but to me, there's a tier 2. Tier 1 is, for me, the Thor Ragnarok and the
there's something about
Infinity War.
The first Iron Man. Maybe it's nostalgia, but there's something about how that movie.
I love that movie.
It was surprising how good it was. Where
it was the first one. Like
the point you've seen all these superhero movies, and you're like, "This is what a superhero movie is supposed to be." And then you see Iron Man, and you see this guy. He's witty. He's not so much of like, oh, we have to save the whole world.
Yeah. And that's why my biggest spiel has always been like that. I don't like Superman. I'm not a big Superman fan at all. Because I don't like my heroes so
perfect.
Like, yeah, and like without any flaws.
Fallible.
Yeah, like overpowered. Like, like where they. And I think that's what they run into with the DCU. That's what they run into a problem, because Batman is actually an interesting character, but Superman, to me, this is my opinion, of course, but is just not an interesting character. Is not interesting scope. Like he can kill you with one punch. Okay, great. Like One Punch Man.
Yeah. What could you do with Superman? We talked about this. How do you fight Superman? The only way you could do it is with other Supermen,
right?
People that come from another place, that are the same as him.
Or you use this like kryptonite, which is like, I don't know. It sounds like
here's like a godlike character, and then he gets a little rock around his neck, and now he's turned to nothing.
Right. So I think they're gonna have a big trouble portraying that character.
Superman 2, you just take away his powers and make him an alcoholic.
So good luck, DC.
Yeah, they have an uphill battle to climb. I saw that movie with all the characters. What was it called? Was that the Dawn of Justice? Yeah, Dawn of Justice, and it didn't do it justice.
No, it was bad.
Maybe because I saw it on a plane. But
like I said before, they should just get everybody that does the cartoon movies in DC and give them the budget to make the movies. Cause
I know this isn't Marvel, but because you talked about how well the cartoons do, I watched on Netflix a Batman. It's like something Bad Blood.
Oh, I was gonna watch it. Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
And it's violent. It's got a good story, the good acting. Of course, the animation is fantastic. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they gave those guys the budget instead of these like directors, the movie directors.
It moved quickly. I think the problem with the DC movies, well, one, I don't like Zack Snyder. A lot of his movies drag for me.
Right.
I feel like the movie's over, and yet, okay, then it keeps going.
Right.
I mean, even I'm a big fan of Watchmen.
Yeah, me too. But I think it's because we like Watchmen, the book.
Yeah.
So Alan Moore, right?
I don't know who wrote it,
yeah,
but
I think that's Alan Moore. Anyway, that comic book is amazing. So I think you really, really had to mess it up too. You know what I mean? Like he
already had a great story to work with.
Yeah. So
and he did keep to the comic really close.
Right. So,
but that movie is so long, and a lot of his movies, I just feel like are way too long.
Right. But I still hold with DC. I love Batman. I don't like the new Batman versions that are out there right now. Like with I I don't even.
Next time on the podcast, we have a new guy. It's gonna be Scotty and someone else. So start auditioning now. I like the Chris Nolan Batman.
No, I like the Chris Nolan. I was talking about the new ones.
Oh, the Zack Snyder ones.
Yeah.
All right. You stay.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like the Chris Nolan Batman.
Okay,
and,
all right. I thought, you know what? That's how bad the Zack Snyder Batman is. I don't even think about that Batman.
Yeah, it's like that. Have you seen Neighbors 1? Where there's a part where Zac Efron and
Seth Rogen.
And Seth Rogen goes, so who's Batman to you? And he goes, Christian Bale. And he goes like, no, it's Michael Keaton. And it's like, Zac Efron goes, who's Batman? And he's like, no, that's not how Batman sounds. He goes, I'm Batman. It's like, I'm Batman. And he's like, no, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
So it was really funny to me because that generation gap,
And now those people can fight over Ben Affleck, which, how would he say it?
I don't know. He tried to do a deep voice too. But anyway, the Ben, I don't blame Ben. I don't really care for him too much, but I think it's the movies. The movies just are not.
I read that someone told him not to go online and read people's comments, and he did anyway. And then he stopped looking at himself on the internet. People even before the movies came out, they were ripping into him.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
he did that Daredevil movie that was horrendous.
Oh yeah. And, I looked up. So there's 53 Marvel overall. There's 53 Marvel movies, and they ranked the top, which are the best to worst.
Right.
And Daredevil was at the bottom of the line.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And that's where he met his wife, right? Like she was Elektra.
Yeah, she was Elektra.
Yeah, I don't know if they're married still, but I think
they're not.
Okay,
I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Jennifer Garner.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. But the girl plays Elektra in Daredevil.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's that show is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so DC, we're waiting for you to do.
Well, we're gonna do a podcast on DC.
Yeah, I feel
it'll
bad.
be real short. It'll be 15 minutes long.
Good luck.
All right. So, is there anything else we want to add to this podcast?
I can't wait to the new Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah, I saw the coming attraction. It looks good. I don't know why she punches an old lady. I'm sure it'll explain why.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the
trailer.
No.
Okay.
So, but
spoiler alert: some old lady gets socked in the face.
I haven't seen the Wasp either. The Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I have to watch that.
All right, we'll make a date night.
Yeah. All right.
Just you and me.
Sweet. Okay, I'll bring the popcorn
Later.